Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. Today, we have the heroic combat quest to get doing, which we will go through in depth. But in order to take part in these heroic combat quests and get tons of orbs for the new dragons from the race that we've just gotten, we will have to actually claim these dragons first. So if you're unsure where your heroic race rewards are, the side panel where you can see all of the events, you'll need to scroll down and go to results. And if you click that, then it will show you your results and then give you the rewards that you are owed. So there we go, we came first, we get our hands on the beautiful new High Nest dragon, and honestly, High Nest is a pretty good heroic. I know that we've had a lot of primal dragons recently, which has made them not quite as good as before, but High Nest as a whole is a pretty solid dragon where you can start building a team around it. If it's your first heroic, it's a pretty good one. Then, of course, we also got our hands on the other dragons from this race since we came first. So we've got Green, and we've got Chubby, and we've got Red Egg. So those are some free dragons. But we need to use 3 of those dragons as part of the new heroic combat quest. So you can see I got to lap 18, which means that I got 40 additional orbs of High Nest, which isn't bad. We can probably go ahead and empower him soon after these heroic combat quests are done and then get the other quests done. But with these heroic quests, you have to be doing these quests immediately because you'll see that the requirements for doing these races, you'll need the High Nest dragon, Green dragon, and Chubby from the race, which means that you have to get these dragons hatched immediately. Because grand total, I believe there's around about 12 hours of leeway, which means that you've got 12 hours where you can, not log in and just not bother with the quest, but you have to have these unlocked immediately, get these dragons hatched. So a requirement of heroic combat is going to be that you need at least 100 gems. Well, I say 100, it's like 93 grand total, but I say 100 just so that then you've got at least a few gems spare. So 100 gems just under, and then at the same time you're going to need a lot of food. And the amount of food that you're going to need, we can see here, because you'll have to take 1 dragon to level 45 and the other 2 dragons to level 40. And so grand total, that comes to just under 30 million food, because that's 27.73 million food that you'll need. So 30 million to be safe. But the Ditlet website does show you exactly what level you'll need for these dragons on each of the quests, and you'll see that for the final quest here, to get 200 orbs of the High Nest, sorry, I'm still in the previous heroic race apparently, High Nest, you will need a 45 leveled High Nest, a level 40 Green dragon, and a level 40 Chubby. So those are the requirements for taking on these. Of course, if you don't take them to level 45, you can also get some of the other rewards. And Heroic Combat 2, you'll see, requires higher level dragons. Heroic Combat 2 is going to be the more expensive one because you'll have to empower your High Nest dragon, and that's where a lot of the gems come in. But you'll see that for doing these quests, you can get orbs for Green and Chubby, but the main thing that everyone cares about is stage 11, which is 200 orbs of High Heroic, and then in Heroic Combat 2, it's the same thing, but 120 orbs of High Heroic, since it doesn't take as many orbs, as much leveling. So, if you want to know exactly how you can do this, it is quite simple. Since you just got those dragons, you go in your storage, and you're going to hatch each of the 3 dragons involved in these quests. So we're going to use High Nest here, and then we're immediately going to skip it with 14 gems. We're going to place him, and then we'll immediately level him up to level 40. Which habitat can I place him in? There, let's pop him in the wind habitat for now. I say he, it's actually a she, isn't it? But we'll feed this bad baby up, which, the baby's quite cute. I quite like the baby form of High Nest. She's quite cute. But we will take them straight to 40. You can see I've saved up some food, made sure I didn't waste it in time for these events. Because again, you're going to need just under 30 million food for this, and be just under 100 gems total. So there we go. High Nest is fully upgraded. Make sure you don't train High Nest or anything like that, or do anything with them, empower them at the moment. You need to have them available to do the heroic quests. And then we'll do the same for the next dragon. So let's go into our storage. We're going to get Chubsy. We're going to use him, and then we're going to hatch him immediately. We're going to do the same thing for all 3 of these dragons. So let's pop you in the ice habitat over here. And then we're going to do the same for the 3rd dragon, and then we can actually start doing those quests. So it's pretty simple, and this is how the heroic combat quests work pretty much every single time. and maybe they'll change it one day, but for the most part, this is what you need to do. And since we've got the resets, I would highly suggest trying to make sure that you sleep around the resets if you can, because otherwise skipping some of the timers for heroic combat quests and quests in general is, well, it's really quite expensive. And then the final one that we've got, of course, is Mr. Green. So there we go, we don't have him from before. We do have quite a few orbs from him now because we did get some bonus orbs from the race itself, but then we'll speed up Mr. Green, and then we should be ready to get our hands on some starting orbs from these heroic combat quests. So let's get him fed up as well. I mean, at the same time, this is really, really good timing because we've currently got an Alliance hatching chest ongoing, so there's never a better time to spend your gems on hatching than there is during hatching Alliance chests, of course. Any other time it would be a bit, oh, do I really need to spend the gems? But during Alliance chests, fantastic time to get it done. So there we go, we've got those 3 dragons. We do also have a tower event, which we'll go through in a second. But now we can open up these quests and you'll see that we can do them now. So we'll start with Heroic Combat 1. And because these are the dragons that we'll need to use, it's easier if you've got your High Nest dragon fully upgraded, of course, because High Nest is going to be the one that you'll want to get rank ups on. The reason that you'll want to get rank ups on High Nest is 1, maybe you're going to be using the dragon anyway, and 2, of course, you can just get orbs for the dragon and then even trade them away if High Nest isn't a dragon that you want to use. But, you know, ideally with these quests, if anything, you'd have High Nest in there as the one getting the rank ups rather than Chubby or Green, unless you are insane and for some reason you want like a 5-star green dragon, which would be a bit weird. But, you know, each to their own. But definitely try and get the last hits with your High Nest dragon out of these quests if you can. And plus, the higher the level and rank up of High Nest, the easier the battles are going to be, so you don't even have to think about them. But there we go, there is our first rank up for High Nest, so that's +2 orbs for High Nest, and now you'll see that there is a 6-hour wait time before the next quest. So we've got 3 days for these quests, so you really do have to be logging in every 6 hours. If you sleep for 8 hours a day, because I know a lot of people sleep for about 8 hours rather than 6, that's fine because you should have enough leeway with these quests to be able to get the extra 2 hours, but then do be aware that if you do that, the timer on the resets is going to change because it's going to be based on the last battle that you did. It's not like we've got a global reset time for these, it's just based on the last quest battle that you did. So that is pretty much everything for these heroic combat quests. Now we just wait 6 hours, we come back, we do more battles. And then eventually when it comes to the final stage of this one, we're just going to have to pop High Nest into the empowerment section and then gem to skip the empowerment and then do the final battle. So that is how you do these. So again, try not to pop in an empower into your empowering tree that's like four days long, because otherwise you will screw yourself over in these heroic combat quests. And you want to be wasting as few gems as possible ideally. So yeah, don't do that. So those are all of those. You see I just got some more orbs pop up there. And now that we've got High Nest hatched, we can even do the High Nest quests as well, which is another benefit of getting High Nest hatched and gemmed immediately at the moment. Because of course we couldn't do these quests before because we didn't have High Nest at all. But now that we've got High Nest from the heroic race, we can actually start getting some more rewards from these bonus Easter quests. So we've got a lot of bonus questing going on at the moment, which I'm quite happy about. And as you can see, the cooldowns on the rest of these battles are going to be an hour for each of them. Eventually we will require a very high level High Nest dragon, so you're probably not getting to like the late stages, if I'm being honest. Like, it may look very tempting, 200 orbs, 140 orbs, but unless you got super lucky with the Easter eggs that were available, you're probably not getting up there unless you just outright pay for it, which some people do. But on top of that, we've also got Frost Flower quests going on, and this is for the current tower event. Now, I don't know why it's popping Exodus in here. We really don't want Exodus to be the one getting rank up, so let's make sure it's dual perception in there and not Exodus. Like, Exodus is fine to get some ranks, I guess, if we're using him in his quest, but we really don't need Exodus getting the rank ups and bonus orbs from Exodus just from battling. At max, that's only going to be 60 bonus orbs, and getting that done in like 8 days, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But this is another quest that you should be aware of. So right now, we have tons and tons of quests going on. Of course, on top of the Ascended quests as well, if you manage to get any of those. But we've just got lots of rank up quests going on, which is actually really ideal for anyone that has a specific dragon they're trying to rank up. But make sure you're logging in every 6 hours for the Frost Flower quest as well. So realistically, every 6 hours at the moment, you should be logging in for Frost Flower quests and for the Heroic Combat quests if you're doing them. So you can keep on pace with all of those like that. And actually, I guess we should go through the rewards for the Frost Flower quest as well, which is mainly just going to be tower coins, but we do also have frozen flowers in here, which you can get from stage 5, which isn't bad. And there's also one at stage 10, which ideally you'd get that, but the leeway on these quests is a lot more difficult than, you know, the heroic combats, because generally these increase later on. We'll see with Frost Flower quest, but sometimes they start to tick up to 8-hour cooldowns rather than 6 hours. But, you know, from the start, you'll be on pace with the other quests anyway. So, on top of us finishing that heroic quest, we will be having some more events and such coming up in the near future. And we've, of course, got this new tower event that's just started. I don't know if there's a panel showing us everything. There we go. We've got the Spring into Action event. So from April 10th, which is today, to the 24th, although some winter dragons don't seem too pleased, you can see all of the new dragons on here. So you can see that we're going to have Tower event, we're going to have Puzzle event, we're going to have Maze event, and we're going to have Runner event with each of those dragons in each. Sometimes they get the image files wrong, but we've got these new dragons here that you can see, and we've got this new collection. So we've got Descent of the Supreme happening, Dragon TV, and then we have the new Spring into Action event going on. And so in this, for collecting these blooming springs, each time you open these, you can get one of these collection rewards. So either heroic Joker orbs or legendary Joker orbs, which are very good. We will love to get some of these. These are very, very useful if you want to empower a dragon. And then on top of that, we've also got this one where you can collect these, I guess, little spring fairy items. And getting these allows you to get 3 rewards out of this, which has trading essence in it and some random Joker orbs in it. Realistically, you'd want probably some of the trade essence, I guess, but all of this is kind of out of this chest. We've got this one here, where if we get these special petals, we can actually get a Titan Orbs chest, which has orbs of Metal, War, Sea, or Terror. And now as a very early player, this probably looks absolutely insane. But if you've finished the Titan collections already, like myself, this is kind of whatever. Like, I don't really care about this at all, to be honest. You can use them as trading items, but not too valuable. Next one we've got is for 30 petals. And now in this, there is 100 gems, which is really nice. 100 gems would be wonderful. And then we've got 50 petals, 5 of the special weird fairy lights, and then we've got 5 of the blooming springs. And in that, that's the one with all of the dragon orbs and also the Phoenix perk. This one is probably not doable, just pre-warning you in advance. The final reward is usually not doable unless you spend quite a lot of gems. The 30 petal one might be doable if you are really, really dedicated to collecting the petals from the current month, but it's still going to be difficult for a lot of people, probably. Now, the others are probably more than doable, so most of us will probably walk away with at least 100 Titan Orbs and, you know, some random Heroic Orbs, but to get those, you're going to be having to take part in all of the various events. And now, we've also got ads at the moment, which give tower currency, so definitely get on those if you have your ads available. Like, you can see that for me, it goes up to ad number 30, where we get tower coins, roulette, which can drop up to 1,000 tower coins, which would be insanely good. And then we've got the I guess the mythical chest coming as well, where you probably won't get anything out of that, but maybe you will. So definitely be watching all of your ads at the moment. And then, of course, we've got those quests, but it's a tower event, and as always with tower events, they are very RNG. But you really need to pick exactly what you're going for in this event first before you start moving. Because we've got a big problem with this tower event in the fact that you'll actually see immediately that we have some insignias on the level. So right here, we've got flower petals, so either you can get spring fairies out of them or spring petals out of these like frozen flower cubes, or you can go directly to the top of the tower and unlock the brand new Hailstone Dragon, because this is the major reward from this tower event. And now normally for tower events, I just go straight for the top and get the new reward dragon. But I don't know if I care for this one too much. It's an ice primary element and magic as a random third element. Honestly, I don't care about this dragon too much. So even though the collection itself is a little bit iffy for me, I'm probably not going to go for Hailstone personally. Completely depends on what you want to go for. Of course, we do also have pieces for other dragons like Freeze Ox, Frost, we've got Ice Trek in here, and then we've also got Noble, who's available. But I think for most players, you're going to get more value out of going for the insignias and going for the flower frost petals. The only problem is if you're not just going straight for the highest point in the tower event, your RNG rolls are going to massively dictate how well you progress in this event. Because you can see that this is part 1 of the tower event, so we can get the insignias and get the flower, but then you'll have to go all the way back down to use the catapult to take you onto the next level. So it's going to be really expensive if you're not going for the main reward dragon. And plus, of course, if you just get lots of wand spins, which you cannot change your luck in this event, it's just going to come down to whatever RNGesus gives you. Like, we got a 3 there. That's super lucky. That's great. We can just go, boom, boom, there you go. We got our insignias. Great. Now we can move on from the insignias and go for the flower petal, for example. But you really have to pick what your focus is going to be in this event first, because even messing around and doing this, if you want to go for the highest tower dragon, like right at the top of the tower for hitting the highest point, doing this sort of thing will massively hinder your progress. So pick, are you going to go for the event collection items and insignias, or are you going for that tower dragon? If you're just going for the tower dragon, then, you know, that is what it is. That you're either getting one or the other. You're not going to get all of them. It's annoying that if you get a 3 on that, then it just stops your progress, but I guess it's fine then having to go backwards and forwards. Of course, as you progress through tower event as well, you will get random like orb chests and that you can open as well, which is nice. At least we can get some bonus dragon stuff. And then there's also the other special chests that exist, like this one, which has white princess dragon pieces, which you could get at times 40, times 10, or times 5. But again, I think most players will benefit a lot more for going for the insignias and event items, to be honest. But as always, it's up to you what you want to go for. If you don't want to go for the major rewards in this event, you can be more than welcome to do that. But since most of us have been collecting all of these insignias for like over a month now, you know, that's definitely going to be a focus for a lot of players. So those are the things to be aware of when you're doing this tower event. And of course, the higher the level that you're on, the more it's going to cost based on that level as well. So like we've got this one, this is the second point in the tower, and you can see that in the bottom left hand corner there is a blooming spring. And if you remember, that blooming spring is going to give us Joker orbs. So I am absolutely heading towards that blooming spring. Oh yes sir, you can bet I am. But of course we're hoping for times 3 rolls as much as possible, unless we're going for like a specific item. But as long as you're getting one rolls on the earlier parts of the tower event, it's not too bad. But I would much rather this not be happening, because, you know, it still costs currency each time to roll. 50 currency per roll is still a decent amount of currency to be wasting. Like, we could have been basically at that new flower by now. So, yeah, sometimes you'll get lucky with tower events, other times you'll get super unlucky. It's just the way that the event is. But the earlier your bad luck comes in, the better. Like, if you get really bad luck early on, but then get really good luck later, it's actually not going to be too bad if you're going for the tower dragon. If you're going for the event items, then any bad rolls are just rest and rip. But there we go. We've got our first spring bloomy now. So there we go. There's our beautiful blooming spring. And then we can make our way through the rest of this event when we collect more currency. And with tower events, it's really easy to collect the currency. I've already collected the currency by hatching those dragons and feeding them up. But easiest way to get the currency from tower events is it works on 8-hour resets, as most of the main events that have currency like this. So every 8-hour period, you just go and hatch a level 1 dragon, feed it up, and there you go. It's done. It's like one of the easiest events in the game, and tower events don't require much thought, or they don't even require maps, because it's pretty obvious. Like, we know by looking at this which way we're going. We want to go for the catapult now. It's just based on what items you want to pick up on your way through. Like, you don't need a specific map guide or anything for this tower event. You can just see it in front of you. So You don't have to worry about missing anything else. This is as simple as this tower event gets. And if you are going to get hit with bad RNG, then I'm sorry. It's probably just going to happen. You know, I guess we'll do our final roll here. What do we get? A 3. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. A 3 drop is fine. I'm not gonna complain this time. But yeah, we'll make our way through this event. We'll see how many event items we get. We'll get this annoying pop-up. No, I'm free to play. I'm not buying that. And then we can open up one of these insignia chests, and we can open up our first blooming spring and see what we get. There you go, a breeding perk. That's not bad. Then let's open up this one. Which one are we gonna get? Legendary or heroic? We got legendary. That's fine. I'm currently empowering legendaries, and probably most of us are. So there we go. There is the start to this event. So I do wish you the best of luck with getting all these petals and everything else. It is a 14-day long event, so it is quite a long event, to be honest with you, but that's to cover all the various events that we'll be getting. We do still have the Ascended Dragons on offer, but by this point it's probably a bit late. But I'm going to be on it with these insignia collections, so I wish you the best of luck. And we should be making it to this final point in here soon, because I've got a few more eggs to hatch as well. But there you go. We're going to get all the food from this, the heroic orbs, the legendary orbs as well. But we will have more eggs hatching in a moment. So it's going to be a very, very new dragon egg filled, I guess, period now that the heroic race is over. And I guess we can enjoy possibly getting to 900 dragons within, hopefully, the next week. That's my hope anyway. I guess we should throw in a random egg while we're here because, again, why not? But now we can do tons of breeding, which I haven't been able to do breeding for a while now. So that is really, really nice. I've still got all these dupes to hatch as well at some point. I'm never going to get there, am I? There we go. Let's do Tertoria. And yeah, until the next events come up, we should be free to do whatever we want, which we can check which events are actually coming up. You can see that we've got Tower Island, we've got a Maze Island that will be starting in like 3 days, then we're going to have Puzzle on the 14th, and then we're going to have Runner on the 19th. So realistically, we've got like 4 days where we can breed, hatch, and do whatever the heck we want. Of course, making sure we don't do anything to ruin our heroic race progress, or heroic combat progress, I should say. But you got 4 days to breed and hatch and do whatever the heck you want in all of your breeding dens. So go wild, go crazy. This is the time to do it. But anyway, I hope that that helped you out. Let me know if it didn't. And obviously, if you do want any other help or advice, you can always join my Discord server. But for now, we are going to be chillaxing, watching some ads, and hopefully getting our hands on event items. So thank you and good day.